Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And my name is Amanda, also known as Dramatic Mandy.
And today is Monday, August 28th, I believe. Forgot to check the date.
27th.
27th? Yeah.
My birthday was Friday.
27th. 27th. We're a day late, but also a day early, so, you know. We're a day late in recording because both of us just weren't feeling it yesterday and we were busy and we needed some time off, to be honest with you. So we're recording after a long day of work for both of us here in the evening. But you know, it's the 27th, not the 28th, so we're a day early. Yeah. So anyway, we have a lot to show. And as you can see, Callie is now firmly planted in St. Louis. Well, as firmly as she can be here in the first few weeks, but she started her new job today, so I need to text her when we're done recording and wish her a congratulations. But thank you to all your well wishes. She read all of them and they did mean the world to her. So we do have a new co-host joining us on the show, as we said we would. So my sister Amanda.
Hello.
You've seen her a couple of times before, so she's going to join us as often as she can, which she pretty much lives here more than she lives in her place of residence, so it's a good chance she'll be on quite a bit. Anyway, if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. If you're new, none of that meant anything to you because you're new. So, but thank you for checking us out, and we hope that you'll come back in the future. So we're going to jump right in with the past 2 weeks in review for ourselves. When I was last speaking with you, we were getting ready to vend at the Michigan Fiber Festival up in Allegan, Michigan. And so Andy and I drove up there on Thursday and set up, and it was not as hot as last year, but it was still fairly warm. And then we vended on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday was, we thought was a little slower than last year, but still was a good day. Saturday was great, and Sunday was a bit slow, but that's normal for most Sundays. And then we packed up and we headed, we actually headed to Andy's mom's house, and we stayed the night with her there. And then we had breakfast with his dad the next morning, and then we came home to Amanda babysitting the dogs, and got to then get back to work on Monday as normal. And we dyed yarn all week until Friday, and then we headed over to Zionsville, Indiana to do a trunk show at the Village Yarn Company in Zionsville, Indiana. I'm sorry, all the weekends are starting to jumble all together. So we did that trunk show. We set up on Friday, which was my birthday, and Andy took me out to dinner, and we had a choice between P.F. Chang's and the Cheesecake Factory, and we chose P.F. Chang's because that's kind of where Andy wanted to eat, and I couldn't care less. I was just tired. I think I would have preferred Cheesecake Factory. Both of those I've just eaten at recently in the last year while being on the road with Andy, and I had the same thing at P.F. Chang's, and it was alright. My drink was okay. Was good and didn't have any dessert. We were going to go to Cheesecake Factory to get a piece of cheesecake, and then I was like, I don't need that. But I had sushi. I don't eat sushi. I know.
You ate sushi?
I know. I ate sushi. So it was like a glorified California roll, but it did have fish on it. Okay, so it was like the spicy kung pao. No, it was tuna.
Okay.
It was like a spicy kung pao ahi California roll. It was good. Andy actually was like, meh, and I was like, more for me. So that was delicious, actually. That was the best part of the meal. And then Saturday was the trunk show, and it was a bit rainy for most of the day. We got to see Joanna and Bill of Knitspin Farm. They vend at a farmer's market in Zionsville, and they literally were like a block down the street. And they were vending with their breads and their noodles, their, you know, fresh done noodles, and some of their produce. Excuse me, I'm trying not to sneeze.
Bless you.
Anyway, we went down there, and Bill was so gracious, he gave us a loaf of his cranberry walnut bread, which is delicious, and we have some left over we shared with the trunk show, and I'm trying to convince Andy to make bread pudding out of it. And then Andy went back down and he got some basil pasta from Joanna, and we had that with dinner. He made chicken parm last night, and it was delicioso. So, yeah. I know, I'm a dork. Anyway, so it was great to see them. Unfortunately, it started downpouring and they had to pack up. And they literally were drenched to the bone, but they still were kind enough to come back and say goodbye. And Joanna might have gotten a skein of yarn. And it was great to see them. Great to experience the trunk show. A lot of great people there. We already have booked another trunk show with them in the spring, so we're super excited. And we drove back and kind of took it easy yesterday, but and then today we have been hitting the dye pots hard because beginning of the month is a busy time for us every month. So yeah, that's been my week in review. What have you been up to the past 2 weeks other than rescanning and dog sitting?
Not too much, except my friends that are still in school, college at ISU, came back. They started this past Monday, I believe, but they came back, so I've been able to hang out with them a little bit. So last Saturday I went and hung out with my friend Taylor. She wanted to go out, but that didn't end up happening. But we watched 2 movies. We watched Life of the Party, which has Melissa McCarthy, which she's adorable. And then we watched Black Panther, which I thought was going to be better than it was, but that's okay. So, not much there. And then Friday, I went out. We actually went out. And, yeah, it's good to hang out with friends that I haven't really seen. I only saw one of my friends once over the summer, so that was nice. Besides that, I hung out here with the dogs. It's what I love to do anyways.
Yeah, in case you do not know, Amanda has started an Instagram account for the dogs.
Oh, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
I just posted too.
So what is their Instagram handle?
I believe it's Ernie_and_Corny. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know.
I can check.
As she checks, we're going to get into the knitting. So let's go into what's taking a bow this week. Finished objects. I actually have one! There is a positive to doing so much traveling and work because I have travel work knitting. So I finished a pair of Improv Sock Blank socks. I called this color 90s Garage Band. All of our sock blanks are one of a kind. They are showstopper base, but done up in a sock blank, and they cannot be repeated. So I've had somebody reach out wanting something like this sock blank. I have no idea what dyes I use. I don't write them down. I just randomly use dyes every morning. I literally randomize the dyes and make sock blanks and figure it's going to appeal to someone. So this one I had to keep for myself. I used a mini skein of Darkest Hour for the cuff heel toe. I did run a little short on one of my toes, so I slapped in a little scrap of like a dark purple that I thought matched, but here they are. So you can see they're not an exact match. This one is a little bit darker. This one's a little bit lighter. But yeah, I really love these.
Definitely your color.
Yeah. So these are definitely for me, knit for me. And I will probably have another one on the needles here soon at our next event, whether that be here in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I will have another sock blank on the needle soon. So those are my finished objects. And these were knit on a size 1 US 2.25 millimeter needle. And yeah, that's it. So what's their name?
It is Ernie_and_Corny.
And she even...
There. Follow them. They're amazing.
So there's that.
Just posted a video of Cornelius snoring very loudly. It's great.
Do you have any finished objects?
No. I'm close.
She is close. She has been working on something. So let's move into what's performing. First up for me, didn't get much love, but I did work on it this morning. Not so that I could just say, hey, I worked on it, but it literally came up in my rotation. But that is Cloudless by Suvi Samola. And I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Monologue in Head in the Clouds and Raspberry Parfait.
So pretty.
And so I measured and I was just at about 9 inches under the underarms, and I think I have to go to like 14 and a half. So, but the sleeves are done. They're finished this way with a kind of rolled in sleeve. I just got to weave in my ends. And you can see the top detail there with some short rows on the V-neck.
I love that. The head in the clouds, like when you look up really closely, it's just like these little specks of like blue.
Yeah, it's really cool with the monologue because this color here is almost the natural color of the yak, which is why the monologue takes our colors so differently compared to any of our other bases. So that's that, and I'm knitting that on a size 3 and 4 US, which is a 3.25 and a 3.5 millimeter needle. Excuse me. Next up are my Pop the Cork socks, and I am knitting this out of Opal in color number 9286, and again knitting it on a size 1 2.25 millimeter needle. And here's what I have. And you're saying, hey Steve, that doesn't look like a whole lot compared to what you have. You're right, because I cast on for the second one. So I think I'm done with the ribbing on the second one. And since I have my sock blocker right here, let me take one of these socks off and put a new sock on. Now this is definitely more of a workhorse yarn if you've never knit with Opal. I think this is my first time actually working with Opal. I think I've worked with Regia before. But it's supposed to have like a lifetime guarantee, and it's not as soft, but you know, if you want to make sure that it's going to wear well. So there's the first sock. I am not knitting them to match. I just continued on from where I left off at the end of the toe. These are going to be for Andy's dad for Christmas. He has a slightly smaller foot than Andy and I, so I did decrease my foot by 10 rounds. I did do an slip stitch heel on my heel flap. So I did a heel flap and gusset with slip stitch detail on the flap. So that's where I'm at on those socks. So I've been making progress. I just have too much stuff on my needles. Now my sock blocker is gonna fall. Alright, and next up I made a lot of progress on. So my hashtag Rhinebeck sweater, which is Brownstone by Jared Flood. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Box Office in the Independent Will colorway, and I'm using a size 8 through 6 US, which is a 5 through 4 millimeter. And y'all, I'm on the body, so that means I finished the sleeves because you got to knit the sleeves first.
The last time I saw this, you were on your first sleeve.
Yeah, so I've been going to town on this. Andy drove both to and from Indiana this weekend so that I can knit. So
Just gonna put it on.
I'm just gonna piece up. I got sleeves, y'all. And then, so as I said, these were a little tight. Now they are superwash. They're gonna block a little bit bigger. So I decided that I went up a size on the body compared to the sleeves because my gauge was a little small. But here's where I'm at on the body. Isn't that crazy? I know. I never knit a sweater this quickly. So I knit all of that. Look at that detail. I love this color.
It looks even better in person than on camera.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. And it looks different in different lights. Like I took some Instagram photos in the sunlight in the car and I was like, whoa, those are bright. But yeah, I got some knitting going on my Rhinebeck sweater. Because, you know, Rhinebeck's coming up in like less than 2 months. 2 months? I don't know. Less than 2 months. So I got to get it going on. So that's going to continue working. I can't let that languish while I have some downtime at home. We don't have to actually travel for anything in 3 weeks. We do have one event, but it's close to home and we don't have to travel or stay in a hotel. I'm not going to know what to do with myself being home on the weekends.
It's funny, you'll be home and I'll be gone for 2 of the weekends.
Well, you'll learn to take advantage of when we're home. Just like, I can go somewhere. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you, because I am close to finishing a row on my granny square blanket, but I didn't finish a row, so I said I'll bring it up and show it to you when I do finish a row, is my Circumvolute hat by Hunter Hammerson. And I'm using a Spun Right Round Squish DK in the Bug Jar colorway on a size 4 US 3.5 millimeter needle. Is that right? I think I'm actually using a 6. Because she doesn't tell you what needle to use in the pattern. She's like, do your gauge homework. And I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that. So I just looked at what most people used. And, well, my needle doesn't tell me. Probably does on the cord. But anyway, I'm now working on the hat. So it has this, like, brim of twisted or slip stitches. And then the... slip stitches start to rotate around the hat. So, working on that, just something fun to do while watching podcasts. It's kind of a better judge of the color. Because it's a light color, it's kind of getting washed out by our lights. But anyway, so that's going, and that's the last thing I am working on this week in terms of knitting. Over to you, Amanda. Well,
I'm still working on my Lamina wrap, but I'm almost there, guys. Almost.
You're like never gonna take this thing off when it's done. It's gonna black out beautifully. So you ready? We're gonna start over here.
Okay. That's where I started quite a while ago. And it keeps going. And I'm on the last color.
The last color. And actually she added a 6th color. We had originally only chosen 5, but she had enough yarn to keep going. So
technically I would have been done, but
I was like, wait, we're going to use this as a shop sample, and we sell 6-packs of mini skeins. Can you add another color?
Ignore everything I have to.
You've been doing really well on weaving in your ends. So, so the base color is...
The base color is Smoky Quartz.
And then with our mini skeins, we've got
Gothic Queen. We've got the Haunted Wood. Eternal Kiss. Shadows in the Trees. Blue Steel. And then finally Fortune Teller.
It's amazing, amazing. Now, she is reversing this from the pattern. The colors.
Yes.
So the colors in the pattern, she has you use different colors in the lace section. And you mentioned this week at knitting that she actually alternates colors even in the garter too.
Yeah.
So she just kind of mixes up her colors.
At least in the pictures, they're different. I'm not sure if they were in the pattern, but...
But she's using her change of colors in the garter and then the same lace sections. So. It's exciting.
It's a big deal for me personally, because it's like...
It's a lot of knitting.
Well, it's the biggest thing I've ever done. So I'm just like, ugh. I'm gonna have a little freak out emotional moment when it comes off the needles, but...
Well, people talk about that. They kind of have like a, what's that, postpartum depression after finishing a big project.
I don't think I'll be depressed because I'm super excited about what I'm doing next. But
so that helps. But some people, you know, especially if you're thinking like cross stitch or something, that takes you years to get this big project done, and then you're like, it's done. What do I do? And some people have a hard time jumping into the next thing. So, what else are you working on?
Kind of not working on it that much, just because I've been working on my Lamina wrap, but this is nice for, like if I can't do lace or anything.
On the go knitting.
Yeah, I don't have to think about it, I don't have to look at a pattern. This is the, I don't know, it's just a boomerang. Is there even a pattern for it?
No, it's my recipe.
Okay.
But it's the stockinette version, right?
Yes, I am doing this. I just like the way stockinette looks. So I've got a little bit. It's kind of awkward to hold.
And, this yarn I gifted to her, but she didn't take note of who it was, and she lost the ball band. I want to say maybe Dancing Dog Dye Works vintage stuff, but I'm not sure. I believe it was gifted to us at the podcast, and then when Mandy got into knitting at Christmas, I gave her a big old bag of yarn.
So cool from far away. I thought it would be, because I am not a color person. I wear black all the time. But I thought it would be cute with all black and then just like that pop of color. But yeah, this is more just like one of those projects that I'll get to when I get to kind of thing. But
cool beans.
Yeah, and that's all I'm knitting because I try to stay monogamous.
Remember that, because that's what I used to say, and then I go back and forth, and I'm like, all the things, and I'm like, I need to narrow it down. We all get there. All right, what's in rehearsal? I don't really have anything that I foresee myself starting other than maybe a test knit for Corey Eichelberger. And other than that, who's iRock Knits, other than that, I'm not for sure I have really anything on the horizon right now. Like I said, maybe another pair of sock blank socks, but not for another 2 or 3 weeks. So.
I do.
Or do you need to look at your notes?
Yeah, I keep forgetting what it's called. All I know is this has been calling my name for a very long time, and this magical human being bought it for me for my birthday. So, once the Lamina wrap is done, which I hope is very soon, I'm going to start the Color Block Bias wrap by Susan or Suzanne Shaw. I can't even explain it. It's just...
You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful.
But it's a bunch of natural colors, but she'll show you the yarn and everything.
I told you I like black. It's black and grays and, you know, that's sort of things.
Or browns and tans.
Yeah, but...
And creams.
They're all in that vicinity of...
They're natural colors.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah, so
Anything
that's
else?
what I'll be doing. No, I'm staying monogamous.
All right, well, let's talk behind the scenes, my spinning. We still haven't got this one spinning yet. I did finish some hand spun. It's not listed in the shop yet, but it will be in the next few days. And it did poof up quite a bit. This is Three Waters Farm Rambouillet in the Summer's End colorway. And I got 276 yards of a 2-ply sport weight. So it's got some lights and dark pinks, lights and dark blues, like a butter yellow, and a soft green in there almost. And almost like a dark gray brown. So there's lots of colors in there. So yeah, it's a squishy wool Rambouillet, springy one might say. So yeah, this will be up in the shop soon. I have pictures taken. I just need to get it listed and get it tagged. So, and I have not started anything on the wheel because it is a birthday gift that Andy got me this weekend, or 2 weekends ago at the Michigan Fiber Festival. So I'm going to show you that in Stash Enhancement. Surprise, it's fiber. But I wanted to show it to you before I got started with it. So it was one of a couple of things he got me for my birthday. So, because I'm spoiled. All right. So in the scene shop, what else are we working on in the world of crafting? So, for me, in terms of cross stitch, I'm still working on the dimensions kit in the moment, and I'm working on the word life, or, yeah, because it says live life in the moment. And so, I think I got a decent amount of progress in there. Again, I go very slow, and I don't work very long at any one stretch on this. This came with a 14 count Aida, which I got rid of, and I'm stitching this on a 28 count even weave over 2. So that's going, and then weaving. So I warped my loom for its 4th project with me yesterday, last night, and I kind of went to town and got started on it. So I do have one missed stitch, don't judge that. But I'm using Classic Elite's soft linen, I believe. I didn't bring the tags up. I buy all this like weaving stash for at like yarn stores and things, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to log that. That's weaving stash. I'm not taking. I know I can put weaving projects on Ravelry, and I need to, but I'm like,
it's like a mountain that is spilling over onto the floor.
So, I meant to have this be symmetrical. Thanks. Can you just like, yeah, there you go. And I ran out of yarn because I had two 50-gram balls, and I thought they would do more than what they were. But it's not symmetrical, but I still think it's really pretty. So, this is all. It's all on there, so it's fine. This is all that classic Elite soft linen. There we go. And I used like a gray and a Cabernet color as the warp, and then the weft I'm using like a ballerina's very soft pink. And one of the things that Mandy and I learned, she actually watched a video, is about using a spacer, a thicker yarn, to kind of get your tension started, and then starting to weave. And so what I do is I use that thicker yarn to get my tension, and then I start to weave, and then before I scroll it down, I take out that first row of the thicker yarn and I do a hem stitch on the bottom corner, or the bottom edge of my stitching. So you can kind of see my hem stitching there. So that way I don't have to finish off the edges. I'll take that thicker yarn out, but I don't have to knot it or anything. I just have to cut it off, and I have fringe, and it's ready to go. So, yeah. Oh, I see another stitch I missed. I really need to not stitch late at night. It's imperfections. So anyway, yeah, that's what I am weaving. This one did have the opportunity to weave for like a week and a half, that there was nothing on the loom. But she didn't. So I'm just saying.
I'm focused.
That's fine. I just don't want you to be like, I never get to weave. Oh, since we learned together. Alright, what else are you working on in the land of crafting?
Cross-stitching still. I am working on my Colorful Cow by Artiste. Looks like that, eventually.
Eventually.
Man, the one thing that kills me, I will sit there and work for an hour and a half, and I'm like, I did a lot, but it does not look like a lot. But, which way? It goes this way. I've got that much going. It's like kind of near one of the nostrils of the cow. Yeah. It doesn't
looks
look
good.
It doesn't look
you
like
have more
anything
progress
yet,
than I do.
Yes, I've been trying to do this kind of like how you time yourself, you give yourself a little...
Your rotation?
Yeah. If I'm here with the dogs, I will knit while I'm here, and then when we go home, I take them home with me every night because they're spoiled and they have to sleep with me. And,
just a little bit spoiled.
they'll lay on the bed, go to sleep, and I'll stay up, maybe watch a movie or something for like an hour and a half, and I'll cross stitch then. But I'll get there eventually, but it's a lot more than before. And there's a lot of white that I have to do up here, and I just started on it because I'm like, it's a lot harder to see. In this lighting, it's easier to see, but if I'm in my bedroom, the lighting is crap. So it's hard to see on the white background, but getting there.
Cool. Alright, let's move into In the Spotlight. What are we watching and reading? So for me, I am still slugging. I told myself all day today, put in your headphones, Steve, listen to your book. It's not going to get finished unless you listen to it. And did I? No. I enjoy the peace and quiet. I'm one of those weird people that I can go all day talking to myself in my head and getting things organized. And I get little bits and bobs, not from her. She listens to headphones, and I'm mostly around her upstairs. But I can hear Andy's speaker downstairs, and I go downstairs to rinse yarn, so I get little bits and bobs of whatever he's listening to. But in terms of what we're watching, Grace and Frankie, still working on season 4. I think we're pretty close, 1 or 2 episodes left. Castle Rock, we're still watching that. That's a Hulu exclusive. Comes out on Wednesdays. I believe we just finished episode 7. And this last episode was really, really, really cinematographically, it was really stunning. The way it was told and filmed. Sissy Spacek is one of the actresses in it, and she is suffering from Alzheimer's. And so we follow her character and her storyline a little bit in this last episode in the way like they seamlessly go back in time to future, present. It was really well done. And then we started back up watching Altered Carbon. I believe we have 2 more episodes left on that for season 1, which is pretty good. It's a little out there, but it's good.
It's really good.
It's good. So, that's all that I'm watching.
I have started a show. Well, so I listened to this podcast called My Favorite Murder. And
you might have heard of it.
It's the greatest thing ever. Anyway, Karen, one of the co-hosts, talked about Peaky Blinders. It's a show on Netflix, and she was just ranting and raving about it, and then like the following week they got an email from one of the crew from Peaky Blinders, and they were like, we listen to your podcast and we're murderitos and blah blah blah. Anyway, it got me kind of interested, and I went on Netflix, and I remembered seeing I don't know what you want to call it. I remembered seeing the show and reading the like synopsis of it way back when, and it didn't seem very intriguing to me. But I trusted Karen, and I turned it on, and within the first 5 minutes, like, you want to talk about stunning cinematography, this show is, it's like, it's beautiful. It's set in 1919. That's probably one of the reasons why I was like, I'm not gonna like this. No, it's amazing. One of those things where you can't judge a book by its cover. And it almost reminds me of like an old-timey Sons of Anarchy, but instead of motorcycles, it's horses. So it's basically kind of like a family gang and this and that. I don't even know how to explain it. You just need to go into it without any preconceptions. Just try the first episode. It's amazing.
I think Andy tried an episode or 2, but I don't think he got into it. I don't know why. Maybe he forgot about it.
It's awesome.
Is that it?
Yeah, I watched those 2 movies with my friend Taylor, but...
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go into stash enhancement. I actually only I have no yarn. So there's that. While we were at the Michigan Fiber Festival, we were right across from Bare Naked Wools, who is Ann Hansen, her yarn line. And she had her yarns and all of her patterns. She's a very, very well-known designer, very prolific. And of course I was like, let's look at sweaters and find sweaters for me and everything. So there's one pattern that I really like that's fingering weight that she did not have the print copy of. She was wearing the cardigan one morning and I said, tell me about this pattern. She was like, I just re-released it. It's on my website. And I was like, can you sell it to me now? So her husband emailed it to me and sold me a copy. But the printed copies I had, the first one I got is Sticks and Stones, and they have a vest, a cardigan, and a pullover. I think I would be making the pullover. You cannot really see the texture on there, but that is her husband. That is not Ann Hansen in either one of the photos, but that is her husband. So I really liked the texture, and it has a little bit of detail at the sleeves as well. Maybe I was thinking of making the cardigan on that one. I don't know. I might make a pullover on both of these and make the other one in a cardigan. The other one I really liked is the herring weave. So it's like the herringbone, but a weave texture, and again it has a really nice sleeve detail on it. Ooh. And the pullover is what I'm planning on doing. But again, the nice thing about Ann's patterns is that she a lot of times will give you instructions for how to make a pullover versus a cardigan versus a vest, which both of these have all of those details in there. Got those, and then the third pattern from her, which is downloaded on my computer. Andy did get me a couple of birthday gifts, like I said. Most of what he got me came from Hill Creek Shop, Hill Creek Weavers, something. Yarn Shop. I don't know, they're out of Missouri. We vend with them a lot. They're the ones that kind of are the mainstays of the triangle looms, the pin looms that I was talking about hoping to learn on earlier this year, and it just didn't happen, and her class got canceled at Michigan Fiber Festival, and Andy and I were both going to take it. Needless to say, Andy went over there and he bought a stand for my Cricut, my 15-inch Cricut, and he bought me 2 new reeds, a 10 reed and a 12 reed, so that I could do all weights of yarn from lace now to worsted/Aran. So that's exciting. But she has to ship them to me, and I just emailed and checked because I was like, I want to make sure I'm not missing it. And she said that she has the stand, but she had to order the reeds, so it'll be a little bit before I get it. And then Michigan Fiber Festival has a 2-day barn where vendors come for just the weekend, and Loop Fiber Studio was there, whom I've never seen in person, and I never even went into the barn after this because I was busy to go see her in person. But Andy went over there and talked with her for a while and all this stuff, and everyone was like, oh my god, Loop's here. And I said, yeah, she does these big bullseye bumps, and I've never bought one because I never had a wheel that could hold more than 4 ounces, and most of hers are more than 4 ounces. And so he went over there and he's like, so, you know, my partner talks about you. And, sorry, that sounds bad. But no, so he picked out, I guess she had like a big wall of these bumps, and he picked out one he didn't think I would naturally go to, but he still thought was cool. So this is the bullseye bump that I got, which is cool. It's got like a dark chocolate brown, a caramel, like a sand brown, black, this highlighter yellow, cream, black, caramel, and highlighter yellow again. And what is neat about Loop's fiber bumps is you spin them from the center. They're like pencil roving, and you will get the color changes, and then if you chain ply it or keep it as singles, it'll color change through the colors as you spin it. So she drum cards all this so that it spins right from the center and goes through the color changes. So this is a 6-ounce bump, and it is made up of merino, angelina, and nylon. So there's very little sparkle in here, just a tad bit of sparkle. And it's called Cryptic. So Loop bumps are an investment. They are not cheap. Andy was like, he's like, she had very expensive ones. And he's like, I went to the not so expensive side, and it still wasn't cheap. But yeah, I just want the experience of spinning one and saying that I've had a Loop bump. My lovely loopy bump. Yeah, okay. So that's what's going to be next on the wheel for me, because I figure he bought it for me as a gift. I'm going to get it right on the wheel. And that's all for my stash enhancement. Do you have any new things?
No.
Sorry, I'm really thirsty. Ugh. We had hamburgers and french fries for dinner. Homemade. Well,
yeah, totally.
Frozen french fries, like the Checkers french fries. And then burgers on the grill. But anyway. Alright, what do we need to move into? Ooh, our giveaway for this week. Alright, so every episode we give away something. We do some sort of giveaway. And if you're ever interested in donating for giveaways or prizes, please get in contact with me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry. Or now you can get in contact with Dramatic Mandy, and she can also be in the know-how and will get your information, give you an address and everything. So this episode, we're going to give away a skein of Baby Alpaca Grande, which this is totally up Mandy's jam because she likes herself some chunky yarn. Even though we've got her down on fingering weight right now, she's going to be going back up to a little bit of a thicker yarn. And this is in the burgundy colorway. And it is 100% baby alpaca, 100 grams, 110 yards. So it's a chunky.
Yeah, I made something out of this. I forget. A hat, maybe? I don't know. Something.
So we got one skein to give away. And to enter, you must be 1, a member of the Dramatic Knits group, and 2, you need to answer the prompt. This week's prompt is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream? I figure we're getting a little bit of a heat wave here again. It was so cool for a couple of days here, and then now we're up to like over the 90s and heat indexes of over 100. So I figured ice cream. I saw...
now I'm gonna want ice cream.
Yeah, I know. I saw some at the store today, and I almost bought it, and then I was like, really? And it was like brownie, chocolate, extreme or something, which is pretty much the blizzard that I get at Dairy Queen, which we might need to go make a late night Dairy Queen run after this. I mean, I'm just saying. Just saying. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to that. So, if you'd like to enter for that, there will be a thread open by the time this podcast goes up, and just need to be a member of the group and answer the prompt. Only 1 entry per person.
You ever hear about that crazy, like, ice cream flavors? Like, they have French fry flavor, ketchup flavor. There's weird flavor.
I know there's places that do, like, rose water fancy stuff,
Yeah.
but I haven't done that.
Rose water.
I just want chocolate stuff.
Yes.
I just want chocolate.
Chocolate everything.
Oh my god. So Callie and I last Wednesday went to visit our friend Amber, Yarn Hoarder. So Callie had the day off, and we decided last minute. I kind of had plans to go visit Amber, but Callie came with, and we had a great time. But on the way back home, we had to pass the Tuscola shopping outlet, which we went to with our mom and Andy. And we got like some candies, and I got some salsa and this stuff at Harry and David's. Well, we stopped back again because Andy had run out of his dark chocolate truffles. So I bought him some really expensive dark chocolate truffles. But I got some milk chocolate covered cherries and strawberries. And I haven't tried the strawberries yet, but the cherries are bomb.com. Bomb.com. And they're red. They have like this candy coating on them.
Wait, cherries are red? What?
Talking the outside.
I know.
It's like a ball. Just because you don't like it. Fruit shouldn't be covered in chocolate, someone says.
I didn't say that.
Oh, yeah, you did.
No, I've had chocolate covered cherries before, and they're disgusting to me. I haven't tried those. Maybe they're different, but...
Anyway, so last episode we did a giveaway for a book. Can you hold that? Thanks.
I guess so.
Thanks, it's co-host. There's a bug in here. Better not be a mosquito. Hip Knit Hats by Kathy Karen. And I did not have a lot of positive things to say about this last episode, but I put it out there for people who would want to knit from this, and several of you put in your name. And so I did a drawing before we recorded, and the giveaway entry, the question was, what is your favorite subject in school? And since school was starting back up, the winner was number 19, Sunny Knits, and that's Pamela, and she said, I would have to say spelling followed by math. She said, I got to represent my district in their annual spelling bee in my sophomore year. That was a long time ago in the 80s, but who's counting? Well, it counted because you're getting a BOOK book. Ooh, got it. Maybe? I don't know.
I think so. I don't know where it went.
Okay, I didn't see any in my hand, but... Anyway, so you've won the book, Pamela. Please get in contact with me, Dramatic Knits, via Ravelry. Let me know your first and last name, mailing address, and your email address if you'd like tracking, and I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. So congratulations, Pamela, and thank you everyone for entering. We also want to remind you, anything you finish in the month of August, like maybe a Lamina wrap, but anything you finish in the month of August, you can enter into our August 2018 Race to the Finished Object contest. We do these Race to the Finished Object contests every month. You can enter every month as long as you finish the project in said month. You can enter it. It doesn't have to be started in that month, but it has to be finished in that month. And 1 post per finished object. Post a picture, you can link to the pattern or, super link to your project picture, and that'll get you an entry. We always do a physical prize as well as a featured pattern from our featured designer, and this month is still Corrado Lark, and so check out his pattern page, which is linked in our show notes. Alright, so we're going to move on to Center Stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts, and if you leave us now, we'll see you in about 2 weeks, but I don't have much to share with you. I have a new colorway to show you, but I do not have a swatch yet. Mandy is going to bring the worsted up tomorrow, and then I can get started. But I've been dying this colorway for the last 2 days straight, and it is called Just Sayin', because that is one of my token phrases. So it looks like this. Now, believe it or not, it is all grays and blacks. And undyed-ish. But it's kind of a black speckle. But I think it has a really good neutral tone to it. And I think it would be very, very good for doing like fading and mixings from, into like a neutral. A good speckled neutral. So this is Just Sayin'. Because, I'm just saying.
Reminds me of the moon, because I love nighttime.
It is cool, yeah. And I almost thought I should have named it, but I've been wanting to use this phrase for a while. But like newspaper, or something to do with a newspaper, or print. But, yeah. Moon is pretty, too. I did name one of my sock blanks today, based off the moon, I think. Alrighty, so that's our new colorway. The month pre-orders will be up for that on September 1st, this Saturday, and they will be up through the 8th, which is the following Saturday. You can order it on any one of our bases as much as you would like. Did want to touch base about the LMFA retreat. Ooh, the bug's still here. Did you get it this time?
Ew.
Ooh, it's on your finger. The LMFA retreat, we have had a very, very, like I said, a very surprising amount of interest in the retreat. I just want to reiterate that it will be September 2019, so over a year away before the retreat. So don't get all fancied or gussied up quite yet. There will be only 50 spots, and it will be a lottery drawing. Sign-ups will not go live until sometime after the new year. So we are having a staff meeting tomorrow, first thing in the morning, to kind of lay out a timeline of when we need to get things done, because we really haven't done anything in the past 2 weeks. So if you'd like to stay in the know about the LMFA retreat, going to be held in Monticello, Illinois, at the Allerton Retreat and Estate, please sign up for the Leading Men Fiber Arts newsletter. You can do so either by visiting our website and filling in the pop-up form, or scrolling all the way down to newsletter tab at the bottom, or there is a tab for the newsletter on our Facebook page as well. Okay, I'm not used to talking this much anymore, except when I'm at shows. Big thank you to everyone who celebrated with us for our birthday celebration. I know that you have kept all of us busy, including Amanda, with packaging orders. We were packaging orders, waiting for Mandy to get here after dinner tonight, just nonstop. We have like 20 more orders to go out. But thank you to everyone who took part in our birthday sale. We love doing our annual birthday sale every year. We do 30% off, and it's our little way of saying thank you for supporting us, and if we can give back a little bit, we'd love to do that. So there are still plenty of things in the shop though, so don't fret. And you never know, we may do flash sales here, there, and everywhere, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, wherever else we are, a Ravelry group. It just depends, and it may be like a 24-hour thing, and if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. So there's that. Alright, upcoming shows. So we just booked another trunk show in 2 weeks at Close Knit in Urbana, Illinois. Urbana. I said that with a little twang, didn't I? So Brigitte is the owner of Close Knit, and she reached out to us asking us if we would help her in her 11th anniversary celebration. So she has been in business for 11 years, and so she said, you know, hey, do you want to come over and set up a trunk show? And so we met with her, and we're going to be out under a tent in her lawn area. She runs her business out of a very lovely home, which is jam-packed full of yarn and no room for us on the inside, which is fine. So we're going to bring up a smattering of yarn and kits, and if you're going to be in the Champaign-Urbana, Central Illinois area, definitely check out Close Knit, and the date for that will be September 8th from 10 a.m. till 4 or 5 usually, I would say, again in Urbana. So, yeah, so hopefully we'll see you there if you can make it. If not, we'll hopefully see you sometime soon. Right after Close Knit, the next weekend will be, I believe, yeah, a wool gathering at Yellow Springs, Ohio. Which is a first for us. So, but we'll record before we go there. So, we'll be recording the day after the trunk show at Close Knit. So, I think that's pretty much everything for me. And we're still at, just under an hour. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope.
No? You gonna go say bye to the dogs and go home?
Yep.
So talkative, this one. Anyway, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So until then,
we hope you
knit something
dramatic.
dramatic.